Hello and welcome back to Caitlin's Animal Adventures. Today we're going to be doing a spooky story time. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you'll know I did one of these around 2 years ago. I wanted to do a new updated one, and my microphone is glitching. I have a microphone because I don't talk loud enough, and I want to be talking loud enough so that you guys can hear me without turning the volume all the way up. So, yeah, so last time I had my black dog instead of a black cat. Now I have black dog. Yeah, so they're going to be joining me for the video. So, yeah. So, this was around, I posted that video 2 years ago. This was around when I was 5. This happened. And, yeah, I was 4 or 5, I think. But, so I used to live in apartments, right? I lived in apartments, and there were neighbors, right? Why do I keep saying right? There were neighbors, and across the street from us lived a, I don't know, she was an old lady. We're gonna call her Miss Granny Smith. So Miss Granny Smith was always nice to me. Then she started, offering me candy, letting me go to her house and stuff like that. It's not bad, maybe she just didn't have grandchildren, and she wanted me to be coming to her house, because, I was, 4 at the time, I could be, a grandchild, and then, one day, I was at her house, and, we were, messing around, doing art, playing some games and stuff, and I said I needed to use the bathroom, and she said it was down the hall to your right. I am not good at directions. I have to use my hands, this is the right, this is the left, stuff like that. I have to use my hands to know the direction. But at the time, I didn't know you could use your hands. I thought everyone just writes with this hand, so, I didn't know it was my right hand or not. So, what I was doing was, I was going, and I didn't know which way was right, so I decided to check both. Me being a bit stupid at the time, I thought, well, right. Right. I don't know which way's right. So, I'm how do I tell which one's right? I did not know. I did not know which way was right. So, what I did was, I checked both doors. The first one I went to was the left door. I saw a bulletin board. It was a bulletin board with pictures of me on it. And I was a bit dumb, but I wasn't, I knew how to read. I knew how to read a little bit. So I read it, and it said, planning how to kidnap Caitlin. I did not know what kidnapping meant. All I was worried about is she spelled my name wrong. She spelled it I think it was Kaytlyn. I think so. She didn't spell my name right. That was the only thing I was worried about. So then I took the other door, and it was the bathroom. I used the bathroom, and then I said, to her, I think I'm gonna go home for a bit, because, like, I was getting hungry, I wanted a sandwich, something along those lines. I went home, like, yeah, and my dad was standing there. I said to him, "Hey, Dad, I was trying to find the bathroom in the neighbor's house, Miss Granny Smith's house, earlier today. I saw a board, and it said, planning how to kidnap Caitlin, or something. I forgot what it said. Yeah, but then he said, well, that's not good." And I said, "Yeah, I'm kind of mad. She spelled my name wrong." So my dad wasn't really, like, he was scared at first, but then he asked me, "How did she spell your name?" And I said, Kaytlyn. He said, "Well, maybe she's talking about a different Caitlin, because it's not how you spell my name." And I would always wear this bracelet that I had when my friends made me. There's a Caitlin on it. So I would always wear that. So he's like, "Well, it's probably a different Caitlin." But he said that he didn't want me going to her house anymore. Later that day, my mom just got home from work. She hadn't talked to my dad yet. Nothing like that. I went and I talked to my mom, and I said, "Hey, Mom, can I go over to Miss Granny Smith's house?" She said, "Yes, of course, you could go anytime. Just make sure you ask me." So I went knocking on Miss Granny Smith's door, and she said, "Oh, come on in, Caitlin. It's so nice to have you." Then I said, "What game do you want to play?" And she said, "Why do you want to play a game?" I said, "Well, do you want to do art instead?" She said, "No, let's not do art right now." And then I said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And she said, "How about you go into the living room and we'll turn on some cartoons, like I'll turn on some SpongeBob or something." And then I went into the living room. Miss Granny Smith left. She went into the kitchen. She said she was grabbing cookies. She came back. She came back with some duct tape and a rope and a bat. Now, none of that really scared me, because sometimes we'd play games like, "Oh, the princess is trapped." And then she said, "Well, do you want to play a game, like, do you want to play a game that you get kidnapped and I'm rescuing you?" And me being me, I said yes, because I love games. She said, "Okay, I'm gonna tie up your arms and legs, and I'm going to tie up them, and I'm gonna put duct tape over your mouth to simulate it so that it makes a little bit more real." Now, the only rooms that I had ever gone in her house were the one with the bulletin board, the bathroom, the kitchen, the living room, and her bedroom. There was one more room. She told me not to go in there, because she said that there's a lot of stuff that is easily broken in there. So yeah, I didn't go in there because she told me not to. I didn't want to make her mad, and I didn't want to accidentally break something of hers. So, after she tied me up, she lifted up the bat, and she went, "Okay, don't worry, I'm not actually gonna hit you. It's just a game." And she went a little overboard with the bat. She went, and I tried to scream, filled my mouth with duct tape. I couldn't scream. I couldn't do anything. And I blacked out. A minute later, I woke up in a place that I had never been before. She opened the door. She was coming in, and it was like, there were a few lights, but they were flickering. The door opened on one side, and I saw her walls. And I was in panic mode, because I didn't know how to put two and two together. And then I heard crying. I looked to the side, there was a whole bunch of kids in there. When she came in, she brought some food that looked like it would be jail food. Like what I imagined jail food to be like. Like, it was some slop, like, yeah, and then it was, like there was some, veggies, and a cup of water, and, there was a whole bunch of those. And she untied me, but she kept my hands tied, and she took me over to the wall, and she tied me to a thing holding onto the pole, like, it kind of looked like this, like it was on the wall, like it was attached to the wall like this, and then she tied the rope around this, and when she did that, I was held in place, and I could not move. I could move my legs, I could move my arms a little bit, and then I was like kind of getting a call. I was kind of like, well, I was scared because I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, well, is this part of the game? Why are there a whole bunch of other kids here? Then it hit me. That's what kidnapping was. She was talking about me. And a few minutes later, my dad was like, he didn't know I went. He told me not to go. But I didn't listen because I liked hanging out with Miss Granny Smith. So my dad asked my mom where I was. She said that I was at Miss Granny Smith's house. It was dinner time. My dad went and knocked on the door. Miss Granny Smith opened the door. And she said, like, hold on. Now, imitate her voice. She had said, "Oh, my darling dearest, Caitlin is not here." Like that. "Oh, my darling dearest, Caitlin is not here. She went back to your house around 30 minutes ago." And my dad asked if he could come in. Of course, Miss Granny Smith said yes. And, then my dad was in the house. There was still duct tape in my mouth, but I managed to get it off because my arms were above my head. I managed to go like this and get it off my mouth. I screamed as loud as I can. And I scream a lot because, like, my brother, he's mean. My dad came busting in that door. He got all of us out of it. Then Miss Granny Smith went missing. My dad called the police. They weren't able to track her down. And just about a week ago, a girl moved in to the house next to us. I do not look the same as I did then. I had short hair and I had bangs. She moved into the house that way of us. I didn't think anything of it at first, but then she had brought some cookies over to us and said that we could talk to like get to know each other. She said we could call her Miss Granny Smith. That day was a sleepless night. The next day, I had forgotten a little bit about it. I went outside to do gymnastics, as I always do. She watched me. She watched me all day. And then, finally, she went to the fence and said, I know you. I know who you are. And I remember what happened. You have made me run from the police, and now you will be running from this. She pulled out a gun. I called the police, and I ran inside, and I told my dad, and the police got here shortly after that. Then we saw Mrs. Smith lying down on the floor. She had a gunshot wound in her arm, and she said, I shot her. They asked me if that was true. I said no. But they asked me, how should I believe you? I told them, you can take my fingerprint, take the fingerprints on the gun. It only showed hers. The next day, we got a text message that she was in jail. And now we don't have to worry about her. But still, every time I think about that, it leaves me sleepless at night. And that's it. That whole thing's fake. My friend Natalie just watched my old one yesterday, and she said that she wanted me to make another one. My friend Natalie Canzares, and she gave me the idea for this, and then I just filled in the blanks. So that is how I came up with this, and I see you guys next time. Goodbye.